Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Brooke Buckner here with meteorologist Simone Thomas, and it has been a rainy and cold, dreary day out there. What do we expect for the rest of the night?
I think the rest of the night this is going to be perfect sleeping weather. The sound of the rain hitting the window.
That's a good way to look at it. Very calming.
Now tomorrow, I know people like to go out and have fun on Sunday, but very calming weather with the rain continuing. Just great conditions to stay inside, maybe work on your hobbies, watch some movies. But here's what it looks like right now across the state, mainly central and into southeastern Arkansas, seeing that rain coverage. We got some falling down in downtown Little Rock as well, but taking a look at what we've seen so far today with those rain totals, to say we've been having those steady showers throughout the day, not a lot of it has actually been making it to the surface. Those rain totals are a bit on the lighter side today. We've been seeing just under 2/10 of an inch in the capital city. Hot Springs seeing around a quarter of an inch of rain today. Mount Ida saw around a third of an inch of rain. I think farther west and southwest you are in the state, the higher those totals were. But as we continue through your tomorrow, likely going to see more of those showers up until about sunset. I think after sunset, we'll start to see the rain moving east out of the state. Sunshine expected soon, early in the work week. More details on the week ahead are coming up later on in the show.
All right, thanks, Simone. Hundreds gathered in downtown Little Rock today to voice their feelings on President Trump's administration. THV 11's Carter Thweet was there from start to finish and gives us a closer look at what took place.
Brooke, this group says they're frustrated with leaders at the federal level, but also here locally. They feel like they're not being heard, and that is what they're hoping to change.
We are all pretty irritated right now. We're all pretty upset with our government.
Courtney Maxwell organized this protest, the People's March, for that reason. Hundreds gathered at the state capitol Saturday morning to voice concerns about women's rights, government programs like Medicaid and Social Security, and their lawmakers.
We just want our voices heard. We have requested town halls with several of our state reps, and they are not doing it. They agree to come to the protest and then they don't show up.
They win when we're divided.
One speaker Saturday, 2022 state governor candidate Chris Jones.
Calling your representatives at the state level, at the local level, at the federal level, and letting them know that you're paying attention to what's happening, and you're paying attention when they vote for things that take money away out of our pockets and put it in the pockets of billionaires.
Those were two central themes Saturday: displeasure with billionaires, especially Elon Musk, a key figure in the Trump administration, and getting involved by calling legislators or otherwise. After the speeches, protesters marched through downtown to the River Market for an organizing fair where several different groups were present to teach people how to get involved politically.
We all share the same oxygen, we all share the same air, we all share the same space, and so this is all about love and connection.
Show up for each other and keep fighting, because the change will come when we show up.
You heard protesters say they want the chance to speak with their representatives directly. We reached out to a couple of Arkansas's federal lawmakers for comment, and so far we have not heard back.
Thanks, Carter. That's not the only protest taking place today. More are happening all across the country. Several activists staged a demonstration at a Tesla showroom in New York City. Police arrested multiple people as hundreds gathered to protest Elon Musk's role in making cuts to the federal workforce. One of the ones arrested voiced their displeasure with Musk even after being put in handcuffs.
Bought his way into office, he bought his way into heading a government agency, he bought his power at the expense of the American people, at the expense of our environment, at the expense of our world and all of the people in it.
The protest followed a similar demonstration at the same showroom earlier in the month, during which 9 people were reportedly arrested. No word yet on how many were arrested here. Meanwhile, in Virginia, Representative Dawn Byers held a job resource fair for federal workers who had been fired or at risk in the near future. A lot of the workers who are still employed worry that they soon may not be and have no idea when their time will come.
Many of us may be fired illegally. We're still going to have to pay the bills, put food on our table, find insurance for ourselves and our kids, to go get medical care if we get sick. And so even if all of these court cases work ourselves out, we're still going to have to take care of ourselves and our families.
More than 62,000 federal jobs were cut in February alone. Moving overseas now, as a Russian strike on Ukraine has killed at least 20 people. The heavy aerial attacks continue after the U.S. stopped sharing satellite images with Ukraine. Imtiaz Tayeb has more on what's left after the attack.
This residential building was gutted in the attack, which also saw several vehicles torched and left a trail of smoldering debris, following the wave of Russian drone and ballistic missile strikes on the town of Dobropilia in the eastern Kharkiv region. At least 25 people were killed and many more were wounded.
Мы заложники данной ситуации в данный момент.
We are all hostages of this situation, this local resident said. We can't do anything. Civilians are dying. The southern port city of Odessa was also targeted overnight. The intense wave of Kremlin attacks came just 24 hours after the U.S. suspended some satellite imagery and intelligence sharing with Ukraine. And only days after the Trump administration announced it had halted billions in weapons shipments to the country. A rapid and dramatic shift in U.S. support for the war that had one Ukrainian military commander say they were now left to fight blind. Imtiaz Tayeb, CBS News, Warsaw.
Tonight, we bring you an update on the Pope as he continues his battle with double pneumonia. According to the Vatican, the Pope is still recovering as he undergoes both respiratory and physical therapy. Many still gathering outside the hospital every day waiting for good news. Doctors, however, say that they hoped to see improvement from Francis as he enters his 4th week at a hospital in Rome. While he has stabilized, they warned he was increasingly at risk of secondary infections the longer he stays hospitalized. Tonight, 3 separate men are still wanted by U.S. Marshals and other local law enforcement. Up first, federal agents say this man, Yusuf Mohammed, should be considered armed and dangerous. He is wanted on gun and cocaine charges. The Marshals say he's, quote, violent tendencies and that you should not approach him. The Marshals and Van Buren County Sheriff's Office also asking for your help locating Gary Powell Jr. Powell is facing charges of rape, sexual assault, and fleeing police. He is wanted for failing to appear in court in both Van Buren and Pulaski County. Authorities say he too is known to have violent tendencies. Lastly, both Faulkner County and Monticello police need your help finding this man. Police say Von Shadrick Kenny Jr. is a convicted violent offender wanted for aggravated assault. Again, if you see or know anything about these 3 men, you're asked to call police. Last week, state police pushed to hand out harsher penalties for those who lead troopers on chases like that. Yesterday, at least one judge agreed. 50-year-old Shannon Barnett of Alexander will now spend the next 5 decades behind bars after a series of dangerous police chases. Barnett pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including fleeing from police and being a convicted felon with a gun. Barnett's crime spree included 2 dramatic police chases, this one which ends with the pit maneuver we just showed you, and another where he crashed into a house. Prosecutors and state police praised the conviction, saying it sends a strong message to those who endanger public safety by trying to run from law enforcement. And 2 Arkansas men are behind bars for illegally trafficking tiger cubs. Kedrick Yusifo received 5 years probation and a $5,000 fine. This after he pled guilty to violating the Big Cat Public Safety Act when he bought a tiger cub from Texas. His accomplice, Deon Johnson, was sentenced to 18 months probation for helping conceal the exotic animal. Are you a fan of the time change? Well, you may have an argument if not. After the break, hear why health experts say losing an hour of sleep during the time change is not a good thing.
Well, at least you got some good sounds to sleep to tonight. The sound of rain hitting your window will continue through most of your Sunday. All the details on the week ahead are coming up after the break.